Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lee. This is Reefer Explained. Today we're taking a look at my G2 250 Red Sea tank. So after the last one came down due to a seam issue that was up for 5 years, so who knows, the seam could have been there from day one, it could have happened over time, or it could have just been that the floor may not have been 100% level. Looking at this build now, it might have been the floor, it could have just been a manufacturing default. So with this one now, it's sitting on 18 millimeters of plywood, and that's been coated with epoxy weatherproof. On this system as well, the new Red Sea tanks, if I take you in, the feet are all kind of sitting upwards. They're all leveling feet, so you can adjust them with a spanner underneath. And the way you do that is by obviously not putting the base board in the bottom of the tank when you're setting it up, so that you get the tank level with the stand first, and then obviously add the tank, and then you can go in and level a little bit more on the feet individually. And there's a lot of feet to level. It does take some practice to get there. The other thing about the tank that's doing really well, from what I set up with the display, that everything I really wanted with this display was no pumps on the sides. Maybe that might change in the future if I need to, but I'm hoping never not. So I just really don't want to see pumps on the side anymore. Pumps are all on the back, and they are invisible because they're black all pumps, so they've got no colorful impellers. They are the TMC 2.0 and 4.0s, and I've got the Red Sea Gyra because I love that pump. And I didn't want it on the top because I wanted it hidden at the back. You can barely see it. I wanted the tank to kind of shine and speak for itself. Now, obviously at this range, you can see the glare from the LED lights, but they are they're brilliant. They are the AI blades, the Glow and the Grow. And I've got both running here around 40% because I'm obviously running an LPS dominated tank with a few sticks, encrusting types more than anything else, and they don't need a hell of a lot of light. So punching out at 40%, whites around 20, and UV, and I think there's another spectrum around 10 to 12%, and there's a lot of light coming from this tank, and it's perfect. So I'm gonna set it, as they say, and leave it there. So they sit nicely flush on top of the tank. They come with these brackets that are perfect for this tank. The screen protector as well, was going to upgrade that and get something different from the Red Sea stock one. But to be fair, there's no point spending that much money on a poly one when, at the end of the day, this does the job. It just took some cutting out. It's not perfect. My cutting skills was quite bad, and measurements. But you know what? I could still fit the cables around here. No fishing can get out here. And the box I can lift off and see what's going on, and that's what I love about this one. The feeding is done by the flake food twice a day in this little ring, in case I'm not here for some reason. But I do feed them from the port at the front that I put in by D&D guard, so that's really cool. And I just pour some wet food in there, some frozen food, sorry. They know where the food port is, so yep, that's working well, and everything's pretty flush. And so I had some issues. I pointed out that mounting this on the old E260, where a partition here, like a black screen that had a bracket, so I could mount that to there or mount the fan to it, and it was very sturdy because it came on an L-shaped bracket here and sat up. So what I found was I got a piece of clear Perspex and used some 3ml lock line clips, sticky pads, basically 2 of them, and they hold really well, and stuck it to the back of the glass. And now I can mount stuff to this, and I might even get another one here or here, and then put a fan, one of those clip-on fans, and put it pointed here for the summer. I'm not sure about that yet. I really don't want anything else up here. I think it looks pretty sweet and minimalistic, and that's the kind of look I was going for. Now, shooting inside the display, there's no camera lens on here, so the colors are a little bit more punchy than usual. But we obviously have got this rockscape here that's man-made, and these parts they come off, and the whole thing comes disassembled. So it's held up by some tubes, some acrylic tubes. You can't really see them, they're really well hidden. There's one there, and there's another one there, but it's a really good by Art Reef Rock. So if you want to get something like this, and I think you can make anything you want of it, but they draw the lines on where they're meant to meet up, and then it gives you an indication of how to put it together. But I love it, and it gives me more depth to the tank, and I can obviously mount the frags and put them on there. And if they get too big, or they like this one here, it was further down, but what I realized was being here or here, it will start to encroach on the glass. So I've decided to put it up here. I'm not going to have a lot of corals here that will need a lot of light anyway, as they are chalices down here, these ones, and I've got some these types is branching Cyphastra, so they won't need a hell of a lot of light. And if it does start to encroach too much, I can always just pull this off and move another one back in its place, because these whole tiles just lift off. They're acrylic rods in. So really cool design by Art Reef Rocks, and I just think it looks absolutely amazing. Loads of swimming space underneath, fish can swim between, they sit in between the rocks here like this. So yeah, we're really happy with the way that came out, and I think it looked good. I wasn't going to bring any of the old Reef Rock across inside the display because it was in such a state after 5 years, not with algae, but just things growing on it in general, and some of it was broken down. But then I realized that I had this massive Alvipora coral that's got 4 parts to it, that's like four like kind of massive balls, and they're kind of, where would I put it on the sand, and I want it to be lifted up. So I decided to bring over the branching reef rock. You can get this finger branch reef rock from Charthouse Aquatics, really cool, and you can make anything you want from it. But yeah, I kind of wedged it up, and I think it looks really good and really natural, and it gave a place really for flow to get underneath, and obviously to put like a coral garden. And that's what I've done here. I've just made an Alvipora goni garden here, and I think it looks great. And this section at the middle, hopefully I'll leave open. I'll have my encrusting sticks and kind of the chalices down the bottom, away from everything else. And we'll see what else the future holds. For me, I'm not that interested in high-end corals. I just think they're so overpriced, and it's about the colours and things working together in harmony, not trying to kill each other as much as they can. So I've kind of made it easy. I didn't want zoas and things like that. I've had them in my tank before. I just don't want to really have any problems myself with my health with zoas, cutting your hands, or working in the tank with zoas in general. Things like GSP and mushrooms and zoas, they kind of grow the tank. You know, they overtake rocks, gutscapes and the back of the tank, and that's all good for a lot of people, but I just don't want to be dealing with that kind of issue. I've had no luck with hammers and torches. They just seem to always die on me, always have an issue. I think if you get the branching type of hammers, they're a lot better, and you can do really well with them. I had one a long time ago that grew a lot of heads. I think once you place them, you should just leave them and let them be. And I think it's the same, they say, with gonies. They're struggling a little bit. A lot of them have kind of taken off here. This one's here is struggling, and this one's here. So hopefully they'll bounce back. Alviporas are a lot easier to grow out, and the colours are great, and they're a lot less finicky than the goniporas, sorry, should I say. Obviously, going down to the ATO and kind of mixing station, I call it. But this is something I bought online from Amazon. It's just a pill, a magnetic pill inside a 1000 millimeter jar, and I just put it on the little mixing thing, and you can turn it on and it will just mix whatever you want to do. We've got the thermal view by Reef Factory just here. I've kept it down here out of line of sight, but if I need to have a little look around, I can see what the temperature is without looking at my app on my phone. I just think it's nice to have a visual. And I'm using the
ATO container, 24-25 litres roughly, from London Aquatics, I think it is, and they make them there, as far as I'm aware, and yeah, it's held up test of time. Obviously I've got the port here I can get into. There's holes at the back here that you can put the cables through, but with this it was quite beefy with the pump and everything else. Couldn't get the pump, can't disconnect this ATO by Red Sea, this wire I think, and then trying to feed it through these holes here, there wasn't enough room for both. It was quite big, so I didn't want to I just left it like that. So for me it worked fine. Just obviously going into the sump, we're just still obviously just rocking everything that I've shown previously. The only thing that I've updated and I may not have shown in the videos recently was the fan. So this is just a simple clip-on fan that you can get from Amazon. Really inexpensive, but to be honest with you, there's no point paying expensive money for these, you know, other fans. I suppose if you've got the money for GHL, I've had one in the past. I didn't really think it kicked out a lot of fan, you know, like airways and stuff like that, you know, like so cooling, shall I say. And this is really good. It's got an adjuster, you can adjust the way you want. It's just to give some cooling to the sump area when the temperature gets too hot, and that's controlled and plugged in through my temperature controller down here. I've shown that before, so this will kick on, and I've just clamped it up here to the Red Sea 25 board. Disconnected the Inkbird, which was a backup heater and temperature controller, which was down here, the second heater. The simple reason being is that the plug is just here, and it can be plugged in if required. And the reason it's unplugged is simple. I've just run out of sockets since getting my Reef Factory X1 Pro down there, that dosing pump for my phosphates, as I dose about 1 ml a day just to keep phosphates in the tank, because I'm always running low, and that's being tested by the Reef Factory Smart Tester, which I actually love, through phosphates. That gives me a reading every day of around 0.01, 0.02 at the most. I just don't want it to bottom out. And apart from that, guys, there's nothing else really to share on this video. It was just a quick update and show you how things are running. I'm really happy I stuck the Eheim 350 back on, and since using a completely different pump, I'll get down here, that white one there just at the bottom of it, of the green Eheim tubing. It's the Compact 500 by TMC, DC controllable, so quiet and so footprint, you know, like the footprint on it is really slim. It pulls from the bottom, which is great, and I've heard that there's good things, because obviously kind of bacteria and things like that, pests, like, you know, things that you're trying to eradicate will basically come out from usually sucked from the bottom. They always live on the surfaces of things. So there's the TMC second controller, the one with the one on, that's on level 1, and that's giving perfect flow through that UV. As far as I'm aware, it's the slowest it can go, and I think slow is better. I'm just trying to keep the tank crystal clean, and it has done that. Since I've put that on there, it has really cleared up the system. Obviously with the new sand and new rock, there was a lot of kind of debris and stuff like that, but it's really cleaned up the system. I think the roller mat is probably my best thing that I've ever purchased as well. It just works non-stop, and yeah, I couldn't do without it now. I'm changing these rolls out every 3.5 months. It's crazy. I'm trying to get the skimmer to work a bit more efficiently, so that obviously I, you know, don't have to get the roll to turn as much, because obviously this is just a workhorse and this is costing more money than anything else. But these rolls around 11-12 pounds, I think, and I stocked up on about 15 rolls when I bought the unit, thinking that I'd go through every 4 to 5 weeks. So I've got enough for like maybe 2 years. So that's a little tip for you if you want to get them while they're cheaper now, because in a year's time, 2 years time, they will be more expensive. You can buy the components all online if they break. for a manufacturer like Chartered House Aquatics or something. They sell the parts and they get them obviously from Red Sea, so like the motor and things like that. And I probably will get one as a backup, because you never know if something is going to go down and then you're lucky it will be at a weekend or something like that. So they also sell the sensors on the right, just in case that ever gets. And then once in a while I go with a toothbrush on there and just clean that sensor off as well, in case any salt, debris or anything else gets, and it could just continue rolling out the roll. Apart from that, we are good on the tank today, and just wanted to share my little updates on how everything is running. And I love this Red Sea tank. Couldn't have asked for more. Obviously, bigger is always better, they say, but in my case, I'm actually better and happier that I got a slightly smaller tank than I was going to get. I was going to get a 300 G2, but I'm doing such smaller water changes now. On my E260, I was going through about 50-60 litres of water change from the sump down, and now I'm doing about half that. So I'm doing smaller water changes, using less salt. Just going to use additives and the ABCD to top up minor and trace elements. But yep, apart from that, we are looking pretty good on everything in the display. It's all popping and seems to be good. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I would like to know. And how often, guys, are you doing water changes? Because when I started this hobby, it was every week. I was always kind of fearful and panicking, but now I'm testing more on nitrates and phosphates. I simply don't need to do water changes as much, because there's no need. I'm barely reaching 5 ppm on nitrates and phosphates, as I said, 0.01, 0.02, and I've checked those with other test kits and the tests that you send off for, so ICP tests. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'm doing mine every 3 weeks at the moment. I could probably stretch it to 4 weeks, but I'm just doing it because I just want to make sure that I am, taking out any bad elements that are in there, like heavy metals or anything else that's kicking around. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.